Doc Martin, how are you? I hear such great things about everything you do. Mac Meadows, Grammy Pam, Cat Mix, Sharp Style, Sev Tap, No Painting. This is the music of Millie Bermejo from South America. She was a guest on my radio show, Dream Farm Radio, T-Bone, Grammy Pam, Terry. We're going to be talking a little about our drama queen emotions today. So why not some drama queen music? Derek, David Ellie. Good morning and blessings. Hadassah Khia. Mark Skitz. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous album. She's passed on now, but Millie Bermejo from South America. And listen to the piano of Tim Ray. Come on. Hey Larry, hey Dave. Well, this is drama queen music for drama queen emotions, but it's gorgeous. Millie Bermejo. This is Tim Ray on the piano. Are you having drama queen issues today? Drama king? Here she comes.
En todo siempre el color es del cristal con que se mira. De rosa yo te veía cuando callabas, cuando reías. Después con otro cristal cambié el color.
Do you want to know what she's singing about? She says, our love affair was so intense, so bright, so magical, and as short as the light of a match. So dig this kind of drama, and we're going to talk about dealing with our own drama. So gorgeous. The light of a match. Hey Greg, hey Ray, hey Images, Bill. Hey, that is some serious drama queen, drama king music. Our love was so bright and phosphorescent, but lasted only as short as the strike of a match. That's how emotions are, aren't they? And I've been really trying to refocus us. Look, guys, there's plenty of voices out there. You really don't need my voice. There's so much. This thing's happened, and we all thought we'd have so much time on our hands. But ironically, because there are so many voices, hey, Dawn, we could actually spend much of our time kind of swimming in the soup of media and prophetic words and ideas and conversations. So in a way, I'm kind of impressed by the people who are posting less and who are not rushing to fill a void that maybe we need. There's this thing where we're uncomfortable with discomfort, uncomfortable with the void. And there are times when God needs to find us in our voids, and we need to stay there long enough to let the uncomfortable surface, to let the deeper things rise. And so in the midst of being missional, I talked about that yesterday, really knowing your mission. And I've got all kinds of insights about Passover right now. And our family's going to do our Seder on Friday night to coincide with Good Friday. and have a full Seder and talk about the prophetic significance of being under the blood. In fact, if I have the right kind of paint, I'm literally going to paint our doorposts with red blood for Passover. And also do a remembrance of the 7 last words of Messiah on the Passover evening. And we're going to be meditating on Passover and all that it teaches us. And there is no shortage, I believe, of voices right now, but there may be a shortage and a weakness and something you're missing and I'm missing by rushing to fill the void, because we just feel so uncomfortable, don't we? And at a time like this, if the more missional you get, the more clear on why this is not just about you and your personal safety and me and mine, the less fear is going to own us. So in my Fear Free Life group on Facebook, I've really been focusing in on key things that keep us from self-focus right now and keep us missional. And so that's important. But today I want to talk to you about the void and also the pressure, the downward or upward pressure of just feeling bad right now, of just feeling anxious. Some of you are people who just tend to be marinating in a lot of anxiousness. And with all the voices going on and the things and the assignments and the prayer and the declarations and the things that we're doing, some of you really just struggle on a daily basis with this kind of reverberating anxiousness in you. And I want to encourage you to stay there. I want to encourage you not to run from that into more stimulus. And those of us who, it's really, really easy just to fill every minute or to look for something to fill every minute right now. But maybe the thing that we really need is to sit, hey, Andrea, sit in the sense of void or the sense of dislodging, the sense of dis-ease that is coming up. That can be a really super fruitful and productive place for us to go and say, in the end, Father, I'm just running out of me. I'm running out of my capacity. And there's so many ideas, so many voices, so many takes, so many drops, so many interpretations of intelligence right now, so many thoughts and buzzwords running around, a new vocabulary. There's all this new vocabulary, social distancing. Whoever heard of that before? I mean, we're swimming in all this new lexicon of words and ideas, the curve and bending the curve and flattening the curve and all this stuff. And I, for one, am somebody who tends to resist conformity to a new subculture. And the subculture, of course, is the subculture of obsessing over the progress of this virus and sometimes our prophetic loops about it. But we do get in these places where we just feel what we feel. That's right. Stay in it and pray. That's right, Andrea. We just have deep, stirred up feelings. And we just go, well, you're telling me all this stuff, but I still am anxious. I still am this, or I'm just afraid that I don't even know what's going to be there if I'm still. One of my biggest pain points was that I had no idea if I went into the creative space. For example, if I wanted to write music or wherever, I had this deep sense that on the other side of that would be nothing. Nothing would meet me there. Or if I went to be with God and I wanted to do this deep communion, that it would be empty. There wouldn't be any place for me. That if I looked too long and too hard, I would find absence and empty. And I want to encourage you. And so out of that came just all these anxious responses. Well, what do I do when I get there? Like I've told you about how I used to go to the beach because I lived in Southern California and I felt as a perfectionist that I should, because that's what people from California do. But I went there and I went, okay, I'm here. What do you want from me? I had more of a void thing coming up when I'd go to the beach or I'd have a moment. I really had this sense there was no place to land and I didn't know I didn't have the reality that if I looked down the well, there would be any water there at all. When you have that lack of deep communion of spirit, or that has felt inaccessible to you, I think a lot of times that triggers the drama triggers of panic, fear, anxiety. Because, the place we need to go is the place where we know there are the everlasting arms under us and surrounding us. And for some of you, you're going to have to dig a little deeper and let God deal with even your first experiences in the womb of not having and sensing those arms around you. But I just want to encourage us to go past the drama of the buzzy feeling of anxiousness, the drama of panic, certainly the drama of media, and even the drama of competing prophetic voices, and to go in and go into the place that may terrify you because it feels like it could be a void, and get used to that being okay. Part of in prophetic movements, we tend to say, I'll show you yours if you show me mine. So you tell me about your great thing, and you saw God, and you had this, and you felt this, and you felt that, and blah, 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 right? I'd go into the place of God and feel nothing. I'd go into the place of God and feel like the kid who was left out. Everyone else is shaking and baking, falling over, getting the chills, here, experiencing all these things, and I got nothing. And it was through a deep process of learning to be loved when I got nothing, that he slowly began to awaken my sensors so that I could experience the fact that he'd been there all along. And so, guys, I want you to increase, and I want me to increase in our capacity to cope with discomfort, because it really won't kill us. It really won't. Discomfort will not kill us. We're just used to numbing out. We're used to the thumb sucking of distractions and drugs and chatter and entertainment and news and even lots of good periscopes and podcasts, Bible teachers. But what if the deepest place is to actually go into that void and that anxious place where you don't know if you're going to land, and learning to be there for no other purpose than that is your offering to God? I have a friend who was a pastor. He used to pastor me when I was a kid, and he was on my dad's staff, and he wrote a book called Why Not Waste Time with God? It's a good book. It's called, by Mike Evans. There's a really great book, Why Not Waste Time with God? And he was so burned out in the ministry that finally he just decided he was just going to go waste time. He wasn't going to try to pray. He wasn't going to try to read. He wasn't going to try to intercede. He wasn't going to take his Bible. And he went and sat at his favorite place by a river in our county, Kern County, because I'm from Bakersfield. And he sat there and he learned to sit, and he learned to go day after day after day after day, doing nothing, praying for no one, not trying to squirm to hear God or not hear God, not trying to see visions, not trying to change the world, simply learning to simply learning to waste his time extravagantly in the pursuit of accepting the reality of the presence of God. And out of that came the deepest transformation of his entire life. And so now, if you want to know what he's doing in the morning, you can text Mike and he'll say, I'm having coffee with God. And he doesn't do anything. He sits, gets a big old cup of coffee, and just sits there. Maybe he rocks on his porch. He just looks out. And that, my friends, for some of us is a profound leap of faith. I'm really careful that when I get up, I'm super immediate about taking control of the state of my mind and not allowing fear, anxiety, depression to interfere with me. So I will get ready immediately, very often, to move into a state of declaration. But not as a substitution for the ability to do absolutely nothing. I'm not talking about the passivity of avoidance. I'm talking about the absence of control. Avoidance is control. Did you know that? Avoidance is a form of control. Avoidance is a form of manipulating your circumstances to go around the very thing that you're called to overcome and work with. And you know it because our avoidant patterns are very tricky, very slimy, and very manipulative. We are so good at it. We know exactly when we're around the people that might force us to deal with things, confront stuff that might require a boundary setting, who might offer us opportunities we don't want to take them up on. We know when this particular thing is coming in the mail. We know when the bill is showing up. We know when husband is going to see our spending habits. And we have lots of workarounds to reset situations so we can sort of smooth them over, right? That takes an enormous amount of control to avoid and being actively involved in the process of engaging with the things that God has called you to deal with so you can learn your freedom and security. So we're not talking about avoidance. We're talking about the absence of avoidance, because we avoid the still uncomfortable places where the void might be, where under the anxious feelings there are beliefs lurking. And so we'll find 101 things and reasons why we shouldn't just waste time in that active place of quiet. Maybe it's not spiritual enough. There's so much more to do. That, I got to check my email, who posted on Facebook, blah, blah, blah. Active quiet. Active, surrendered quiet. I can offer you nothing but my time. I can offer you nothing but the release of my control and my submission into this deeply uncomfortable place where anxiousness is coming up and where I'm just feeling things I don't want to feel. Could it be that in this hour, with all of the chatter and all of the things, that under the drama of our busyness, that the place where we're going to find the freedom from so much of the fear and panic is right in that active quiet and that being there and learning moment by moment we can survive discomfort. We can learn that. This week I engaged with someone and I reached out to say, how are you doing? And I got such a cold shoulder. And I immediately felt this anxiousness because it's a long-standing relationship and I thought we'd moved into a place of communication. And I very easily, it wasn't a big, huge thing, but I very easily could have moved into, just that kind of little buzzy activity, where I'm just avoiding. And I stopped myself and I went and laid on the couch and I said, my perceptions, God, might be very skewed, but I feel something from this interaction and it's kicking up some anxiety and I'm feeling hurt by this person. And it's very, very subtle, but I'm sensing the energy go out and be wrapping around beliefs, ideas about this interaction, this person, and the past. And so I sat on the couch and I said, I don't want to run from this. In essence, I want to waste some time with you in the midst of this discomfort of this interaction. I welcome you here. I welcome you here into this place. I can't offer you anything other than my surrender and my obedience should you give me something to do. But gosh darn it, Lord, I just have to have you here in this spot. And what if that is one of the deepest forms of sacrifice we can offer to him in this hour? Because we can very often cover our anxieties by just praying anxious prayers. We can spiritualize our issues by just covering over them with a Bible verse. May I just clarify that I absolutely believe that declarative scriptures are essential for retraining our brain and taking authority over the atmosphere. But I'm also saying that we have the need for the conscious surrender of active quiet, and to go into the places that make us discomforted. And I really believe if we'll learn to do that, even 5 minutes at a time, 10 minutes at a time, that's awesome brain training. And it's also a deepening, a stretching of our spirits. It's like a while back, Dave, you reminded us that to be totally quiet before God. So I got my timer out and I set it for 10 minutes. And I just said, okay, I'm going to go just be absolutely quiet wasn't anxious at the time. That was kind of nice. But I set it for 10 minutes just to go and be still. And at the end of 10 minutes, I could feel that my spirit had kind of opened up and stretched. So I actually set it for another 10 minutes and stayed longer. And I think I actually wound up 30 minutes that I just sat and stretched. It's a capacity, it's a muscle. The spirit is stretched in us. We can do the same thing through anxiousness. And if it's deep and troublesome, it becomes the perfect place where we ask God, what's going on with me? And what do I really believe? Step into this place with me and show me what I really, really believe. And he will. Why wouldn't he? And if you are really somebody who struggles with trauma, how about getting on the phone with a friend and saying, I really need to learn to be still. I'm dealing with anxiousness and I've got some trauma issues. So would you mind being on the other end of the phone, and we'll both set our timers for 10 minutes and I can have a buddy to be quietly anxious with? Let somebody soak you in prayer or maybe just be with you. Have you thought about that? Thought about those possibilities? Or even having an appointment with one of your friends saying, okay, you and me both together, 3:00 today, wherever you are, we promise, text, you spend 15 minutes in quiet and let's just do this thing together. Let's let this stuff come up. And then afterwards, let's share what was coming up and what we learned to believe. And then minister to one another. Why not? It's in those places where he promises to meet us. And there's this mixture of us going by ourselves into those secret places and just feeling it, because when we run from something, that's control, manipulation, and it also is giving it more power. We're saying, if I look at you and what's really there, you'll be bigger than God. That right there is a whole belief system. Or if I go to the place, I will be in a void and no one will be there for me. I'll be alone again. I won't be covered. And then you go, where did you learn that?
Where did you learn that? Where'd you learn that no one would be there for you?
And God, I need to engage with you now and have the truth. So the void is a powerful place. And if it's too threatening for you, get a friend and have them walk through it with you. Don't be afraid of feeling bad. That's another whole subject. Why do we have, first of all, nobody says you have to feel bad about anything. If somebody rejects you, I believe we don't even have to feel bad. There's no law that says just because somebody doesn't like me or they're mean to me or they think I'm a jerk, that there's no rule in heaven that says I have to feel bad about someone else's opinion. So we can learn when we have a moment of rejection or risk or whatever it is where we feel a little bit of shame or discouragement, we can learn to go right into the core of that feeling and find out that we're okay. And God is in that feeling with us. He's in that place He's there. We don't have to be afraid of our feelings. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome? So, anyway, I just think that's pretty cool. And I want to encourage you that in the midst of all the voices, don't avoid the void. Don't avoid the void. You got some drama going on, press past it. Into those deeper places, have some coffee, waste time actively quiet, doing nothing except engaging with Him where you live, where you really are living. I hope that's helpful for you guys. And get ready for Passover. This is the hour God is shaking everything our nation and our people have believed in that is less than the Lord God of Israel. So, do something that scares you, like go be alone with your uncomfortable feelings. Actually, you won't be alone, because that's where you want to invite Him to join you.